Hello, hello. Welcome to the Infinite Rock Builder Lite guide video. It's going to be pretty short and simple, just showing you how this free shader works and how you get the best out of it and whatnot. Before I do that, I've put quite a bit of work into this and I'm giving it away for free. So it would be really nice if you could express your thanks by either rating this on the Blender Market, the page where you got it from, or subscribe to my channel. Literally don't cost you anything, takes a second. You know, it's a really nice way to say thank you, so I would really appreciate it if you subscribe or rate this on the Blender Market. Alright, that's out of the way, let's get cracking. So the whole thing is contained within this one group here. You don't need to go inside it or anything. And all the controls. And there's Formation 1 right there, Formation 2. They both have the same controls in terms of UV objects, overall scale, overall strength. I don't really need to explain them. Ambient occlusion is just based on the displacement data, so you'll see the get whatever. You know what ambient occlusion is, it darkens these. For Formation 1 in particular, you've got X and Y scale, so you can stretch the rocks, I guess, on one scale, make it look like that. The whole idea of these controls being that you can just muck around with them. It's got two shape filters to make this one, so if you mess with just move sliders, you know, see what happens. You can change the formation dramatically just before doing anything else. You can just mess around with these sliders. Some will have dramatic effects, some will have very little, but you get the gist. Muck around with them. And when it says shape ramp, that refers to a color ramp, and because it's displacement, you only need black and white. That's why they're called black and white. So if I wanted to represent these settings to match, say, this color ramp, then the first pip is set to 0.464. Like the Amstrad Super C, great computer. 0.464. So I put 0.464 in for the black, and then don't worry about what's happening on the right there. And then for the grey here, it is 0.673. So I put 0.673. So that is how you would represent this setup here. Okay, and then I'm going to take them back because I want my normal. So if you add more white by dragging this to the left, it's adding more displacement, as if you're going like that. Okay, and they've both got a shape ramp. Alright, so there's that, and then the shape filter too. And to access both between the two, you've got this formation mixer, which at the moment is set to mix, so it's going to completely replace Formation 1 with Formation 2 if that's set to 1. And the same thing here, you've got overall scale for that, so you can edit each formation scale individually. When you start mixing them, it's got a shape ramp. Yeah, as I say, muck around with the controls. Some will make big differences, some won't. But playing with them, as you can see, makes dramatic changes. And one cool thing, really cool thing, with the formation mixer is that you can change the modes. So at the moment, it's only on Formation 2. But if I wanted, I could just put 0.5 there, and then it's half of each. Half of Formation 1, half of Formation 2, but more effectively is to mix them with a mix mode. So subtract I'm going to use, because it makes quite a dramatic change. But let me try difference instead. And that's the point, you just muck around with these. Change different color modes, and that looks pretty cool. Obviously you can limit the amount of mixing using this, but either way, that's how you'd mix them, and you can still edit them individually using their individual controls. And then a little tip, if you swap them like that, you get a slightly different result, like that. That's also fun. And on the bottom of the shader is that's really all you need on the principled BSDF. Principled BSDF is the roughness, and that's if they're very wet. And then bump, I have it on 0.1. Do what you want with it. Put it up to 1. It does change the formation quite strongly, as you see. So I have it. I'm going to have it at 0.2. And the color is here. It's just a simple filter. If you Control Shift click, you can see how this color is being displayed. So using this color ramp, you could really accent that contrast there just by maybe brightening that a bit. And then once you control shift click that, if you just control shift click this here, then it's well, then you can see what's going on. So now that color is applied to that rock, so you just use that to add color to it. As I say, it's a light version, so it's got to be limited, you know, it's free. Now if you were to apply this to, say you've already built a scene and you wanted to apply the light version, then here's one I made earlier, which at the moment is using the Infinite Rock Builder, actually version 6. But what I want to do is just put the Rock Builder Lite onto this one. I've obviously already unwrapped all of this shenanigans. So if I remove the IRB 6, and I'm probably going to have to append, am I? Yep, so I just need to append the Rock Builder Lite, and happily it's right there. And then I'm just going to apply it to this, and then I'll show you what is likely to happen and also how to fix it, because as you can see, that doesn't look very rocky, man. Dude, what you made me download, that's not rocky. So it's just a case of messing around with the scale and the strength. So I'm going to put scale up to 7, see what that does. And then I've got more chance of seeing it. That's a bit too much, so I'll put that to 5. And then if I maybe right, yeah, that's all right. And then I can add a bit of strength, so it's at 1. I'm going to put 1.2, just add a little bit. There we are. And then I'm going to make sure this is on mix, because I'm going to mix in formation 2, but I'm going to have to do the same procedure with formation 2. So if I'm going to put that scale up to, I don't know, 8, what's that look like, son? Yeah, that looks cool. And maybe 1.5 strength. And then I'm going to go back to the mixer and just, you know, muck around with it and see what happens. You know, that looks pretty rocky. Maybe what's add do? Actually, no, that's better. There you go, bosh. So just literally replaced the textures, the IRB for the IRB Lite. And so, as I say, if you apply it to a biggish shape, or a shape you've already made, already unwrapped and whatnot, just check each scale first on each of the formations, and then you can muck around with the strength to make sure that it looks all proper and everything. All right, that's it. Again, please say thank you by either subscribing to this channel or going to the marketplace and just giving it a rating. It would be very much appreciated. Thank you. All right, sweet. Enjoy. Bye.